What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Palantir. So I've got a couple of interesting updates for Palantir for you guys in this video. They recently just got a new pretty substantial contract extension, and that contract is going to be very important for them going forward. We also have two really important events coming up for Palantir in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to go over exactly which options that I have purchased and my plan for those contracts and that trade overall. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so you're notified every single time I post a new video, so you guys get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So if we go over and take a look at the chart of Palantir for today, it's having a really great day today. They're up about 9.5% or about $3 on the day. We saw that they had a really substantial run up into demo day, and then we saw a pretty significant sell-off after all of their announcements kind of settled down. We usually see this a lot with these big events that companies have. We saw something very similar happen with Neo Day when Neo had a pretty significant run up into their Neo Day event, and then once all the information came out, we saw Neo pull back and then start to consolidate, which we did see with Palantir, and now I think we are starting to see the run up into Palantir's earnings, and we also got a very good piece of news about a new contract extension that we just got today. So if we come over and take a look at this specific contract, we can see that Palantir and BP deepen partnership, accelerate energy transition. If we come down, Palantir Technologies and BP have extended their partnership to support BP as it works towards its ambition to become a net zero company by 2025 or sooner, and to help the world get to net zero. Palantir will provide its software at BP at the enterprise level with global deployment across the organization in a multi-year, multi-million-dollar deal. So that's very good news. So additionally, Palantir and BP have partnered since 2014, and Palantir's software has been a key accelerant in BP's digital transformation. BP has now committed to using Palantir's Foundry software for 5 more years and apply it to new areas of business to further accelerate BP's strategic digitization objectives and help support delivery of its ambitious energy transition goals. It's always a good sign to see these contract renewals from Palantir, because you know that their customers are very happy with the services that Palantir has been providing. We've also seen ARK Invest start to average up into their position in Palantir this week. So if we come over to this website, we can actually look at what ARK's buying behavior of Palantir has been over the last couple of days. We've seen them buy a pretty substantial amount of Palantir shares, especially on this dip on February 2nd, where they bought almost $1.5 million worth. They bought $700,000 the next day and $1.1 million yesterday on February 4th. The reason that ARK Invest is buying into Palantir, especially right now, is because Palantir has their earnings announcement on February 16th. So that is going to be a very important day. The market is closed on February 15th, and Palantir reports its earnings pre-market on February 16th. So if you are planning on trading Palantir and you want to get into some of the trades that I'm going to discuss later in this video, you have to be careful with when you plan on selling this trade, because if you do not get out of the position by Friday's market close, you will have to hold through earnings, since you will not be able to sell any of these positions before market on Tuesday. So we also have another very important event 3 days after Palantir reports its earnings. So if we come over here, we can see that according to Business Wire, the lockup period is expected to continue until the start of the 3rd trading day following the date of public disclosure of Palantir's financial results for the year ending December 31st, 2020, the lockup period. So essentially what this means is that a lot of insider shares, so basically the lockup period on the remaining 80% of insider shares, all of those shares right now are not allowed to be sold. After this date, people who own this 80% chunk are allowed to sell a lot of their shares, all of their shares actually, on the open market. So it is possible that we do see a little bit more selling pressure in Palantir after this 3 days after earnings. So that's possible. I think we're going to see a pretty significant run up into Palantir's earnings announcement. And depending on what numbers they release, revenue growth, earnings per share, we could see Palantir shoot up after this announcement, and then we could see some selling pressure, but I think it is going to be a net zero effect on the overall price of Palantir shares. So now let's talk about the exact trade that I have gotten into for Palantir's earnings run up. So if we come over to the options chain of Palantir, we're going to be looking at the February 19th expiration date because Palantir reports their earnings on February 16th. So if we come down and look at this options chain, I have actually gotten into these $45 strikes, and you can see right around here, I have 4 of them. So my position is up a pretty substantial amount right now. I bought these around 80 cents, which means that I have 4 contracts and paid $80 each for them, and they're now sitting at around $1.42 per contract. Now, if you saw my last Palantir play and you guys were able to get into that trade, we absolutely killed it. We actually had these February 19th 30 strikes. So I should have held these contracts looking back because these are so deep in the money. But when Palantir started having a really sharp pullback, I kind of wanted to just take the profits on this trade because at one point the stock was getting very close to sending my contracts out of the money, and I didn't really want to lose all of the profits that I had in the trade. But I did hop back into this same expiration date, and if you've listened to my other Palantir videos, I made the mistake of not going out far enough out of the money with my strike. So this time I went pretty far out of the money with these 45s. We saw Palantir almost get to 45 on its last massive run up. And I think if it gets some momentum going into earnings, I think we could see it break 45 and maybe even go to 50 before its earnings announcement. So my plan with this trade, we're going to be using the first options trading strategy for earnings. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be holding these contracts up until before earnings. So I'm planning on selling these contracts on the Friday before earnings because Palantir reports pre-market Tuesday and the market is closed on Monday. So if these contracts go up a lot in value before earnings, I have 4 of them. What I'm planning on doing is selling 3 of the contracts, taking most of the profit off of the table and leaving one of these contracts to play the actual earnings announcement, since I think Palantir could absolutely crush earnings. So that's going to be my plan. If you guys have a different plan, I'd like to see what you're trading. So put that down in the comments. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys were able to get into some Palantir plays as well for this run up and on this pretty substantial dip. But that's going to be it for this one. If you guys enjoyed what I had for you in this video, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so you're notified every single time I post a new video, and you get to stay up to date on all of your stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys had a really profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.